What is the best weekend to come to Lake of the Ozarks? If I could only choose one, how would you answer that question?
Oh, man.
Is July the best month at the Lake of the Ozarks?
What would make you think that?
That certainly contributes to it as well, and right behind us. But seriously, what's your opinion?
I've said this before in other videos. When we used to live on the 7-mile marker, the 4th of July hit in the middle of the week and people straddled coming down on both weekends and shooting off fireworks on both sides of the lake. And we were just idling through there. And over at the 7-mile marker, I mean, at night, shorelines are lit up on both sides very prominently. So I was never really spooked to go out at night over there. But to watch that with the boys, watching the fireworks on both sides, that was one of the best nights boating at Lake of the Ozarks that I can remember.
Yeah.
Now, anytime you can boat on Lake of the Ozarks in a full moon, that's hard to beat. But you do it on 4th of July with fireworks going off, and that'll top it.
That brings up a good point. So by the time this video comes out, 4th will have passed. The 4th fell on a Saturday this year. Like you said, if it falls in the middle of the week, both weekends get hammered. But when it falls on a Saturday, do both weeks get hammered?
Felt like last week was a little light, especially on showings that we had. A little bit lighter than what we expected. I'm trying to think, what did I do last week?
Well, I was mentioning to you off camera how I had an appointment out in Lori on a Wednesday in the morning. The appointment was at 9 o'clock. I left my house, ETA of 9:02. I got there at 9:32.
Yeah.
And there was no accidents. It was just traffic on 5.
Just a bunch of people.
That's ridiculous.
And a bunch of people from out of town that aren't used to driving on our roads, so they're a little bit more cautious, not knowing where they're going. I catch myself doing the same thing. If I'm in a different land and I've rented a car and I'm driving around, I know I'm driving less than a speed. I will actually pull over on the side of the road, let people go by, because it's like, hey, hands up. I don't know what I'm doing. Please go around me.
Yep. Especially here too, with topography and the way the roads
are. And we lived down HH for many years, down at the end of it. And that road is kind of wild.
Yeah. So back to the question, is July, in fact, the best month of the year?
Yes, I would have to go with it. For Lake of the Ozarks, July is the busiest month for people coming into town of all the months.
So
August.
If you like that.
If you like that. Well, obviously a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Because that's when we're, the most visited.
Yep. Typically less rain, typically as warm as it's going to get, and you have an entire month, which is really the only month, because May is typically rainy, typically colder, your graduations, and then August, of course, we start school.
August, school starts, like especially high school football and stuff like that will start up, so people aren't coming down as much. That's not bad either, because you get to go out with fewer people out on the lake. I know it's really tough for local businesses once the schools start back, because they lose so much of their help. College kids, high school kids, so they're struggling. Gas stocks.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that continues to evolve and change, as we've talked about many times, because it needs to.
Yeah.
It needs to happen. So I've got another question for you that I'm not sure if you're going to have a good answer to this, because it's a tough one. If you were advising somebody who had never been here before, had only been here a smattering of times, and they said, what is the best weekend to come to Lake of the Ozarks? If I could only choose one, how would you answer that question?
Oh, man. Yeah, best week. I don't know. Shootout week is pretty special. I mean, that's a really hard one to top. Obviously, Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, those are some big weekends to be here.
Let me stop you right there. So Shootout, you really have to have access to a boat. So if you don't, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
You can rent a boat.
Would you recommend a renter go into that chaos?
Yeah, that's a good point. If you've never rented a boat before, please don't.
Yes, exactly.
Don't make that weekend your
So if you have access to a boat and you're big into racing, absolutely, hands down, the best week to be here. Now, you mentioned the holidays. You got to pick one. You can't list all three.
I would go with 4th of July.
I agree.
Between the fireworks and so much activity going around. I mean, everybody's going to have a band this weekend.
Yep.
You have to try really hard not to have a good time.
You don't have to have a boat to be here. You can just have a dock. You can swim off the dock. You can see fireworks anywhere. You can go to 10 million bars on the lake.
You don't have to have a lakefront home. You could go to the lakefront bars that have pools.
Yes.
You could go to, PB2, PB1. Garrett works down there. Every once in a while, their campground is packed. They have a beach down there and people camping.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different options for people here at Lake of the Ozarks. Offshore homes, second tier rental homes, pick one of those up for cheaper and Uber around everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, there's so many options to do so many things.
Yeah, and then you've got the boat taxi stuff. What is that, off the hook, that goes back and forth between Tap and Grill and...
Yeah, and then there's a lot of boat captains.
Yeah.
So even if you wanted to maybe shoot out, you could hire a captain.
Yep. And there's a lot of them that I've talked to that are out there.
Yeah, a lot of good ones. Yep.
Yeah, they're happy to do that. So that'd be, see, you don't have to have a boat. You don't have to rent a boat. You can get a captain.
Okay, so there's your answer. Shootout week is his choice, and 4th of July. So as you're planning your future here, those are the times you might want to come.
Yeah, if you own your own boat and you want to come down when it's a little quieter, September is awesome. The beginning of October is awesome. It's just a lot of the lake places aren't open throughout the week. They're open on weekends, so just note that before you trip.
Yeah, that's a good point. So when would you recommend, if somebody who wants to come down, they're going to tow their boat, they got to be here on a weekend, but they want to do their best to find a weekend that's going to be not wild like this one?
Come after Labor Day.
Between Memorial and Labor.
Oh, between Memorial
Yes.
and Labor Day.
Yes.
Anytime in August is good. I mean, May is pretty quiet.
Nope, Memorial's the end of May.
Yeah.
My answer would be the weekend after Memorial is always a good one. It's always a quiet one. However, the weather can be crap
Typically, the weekend after 4th of July is going to be slow too.
also. So that
Because
would probably...
so many people
Then
come
there's the
here
answer.
and they plan around. Yeah, there you go.
There's your answer. So you're going to get the warmth and you're going to get the relative quiet.
You're going to get that sun right
You're
there.
going to get that sun. Now, we're going to
Right there.
We're going to cook for this market video.
What are we going to cool off with here?
Yeah, before we get into this market update, as you know, anybody who's following, we are sponsored by Firefly X, the healthiest energy drink that exists. None of that gas station garbage. We've got, these are made with, oh, I thought you were going to cheers me
Cheers.
there. All natural ingredients. It's pure cane sugar. It's, you know, all those ingredients that you read on the Monsters and the Red Bulls that are going to kill you. These are not going to kill you. They have leaded sugar and they have sugar-free options. So it's the same thing, and they are tasty. This is your first experience.
That's it. Now, how do you know if this one has sugar or
It's
no sugar?
It's leaded. These are leaded.
These are leaded.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the other thing I've mentioned before too is this is great by itself, but imagine it with a little Malibu rum or a little vodka, or it would be dangerous. Dangerous.
I'll leave that one to you.
Well, I mean, for guys like you who which I guess you're gonna have to tell me now about this. Why'd you give up coffee?
Oh man, I just picked up these little habits, every couple of them every which way, and I said, time to clean up a little bit, clean up some eating, knock the
I
coffee
feel like
out.
coffee's like the vice that's probably the least bad for you, other than for your teeth.
I would say most accepted.
It's the most natural caffeine.
Yeah.
You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you drank it later on in the day in the afternoon, it could really upset your
Well,
sleeping.
that's just stupid.
Yeah,
Why
I
would
don't,
you do-
don't do that. Don't do that.
Although I'm the kind of guy that could drink a Mountain Dew at 10 p.m. and go to bed. So
Don't do that either.
I don't drink Mountain Dew. I hate Mountain Dew, but you know,
Yeah.
that talk about bad for you.
Oh man, that was some high school days. We
Yes.
put down some Mountain Dew back then.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's your rating? This is purely candid.
Yeah, I'd buy it. I'd stop in there to buy.
Jack, Stephanie, if you're watching this, make sure Jesse stops.
I'm a
by.
buyer.
Yes. Bring
I
him.
haven't bought any coffee from you in a couple of weeks.
because he's now not drinking coffee. Darn it, Jesse! I guess you're just gonna have to start buying coffee as a gift for your buyers and sellers. That's a good gift, by the way.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
You can go home now.
Actually, I can exit stage left because we're gonna give the June market update. Take it away.
The June market update, we're sitting here on July 3rd. Usually it's a couple more days before we actually shoot this.
Or release
Sometimes data comes in a little slow, so
Oh.
we usually don't shoot it until 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
Yep.
This guy's got a busy week next week. He's going on a family float trip.
Yep.
We've got business trip to do next week as well. It's July 3rd. You can tell all the boat traffic in the back of our cove. We're at Watson Hollow Cove shooting this. It's a busy day out there. Let's jump into the June market update. Lakefront home sales are running more than 23% ahead of last year, and condo sales are up nearly 32%. Here's the full breakdown on both segments. For Lakefront homes, new listings, 137 new Lakefront home listings hit the market in June, down from May's 150, but up 37% from June 2025 of 100. Year to date, 760 new listings have come to market compared to 675 last year, over a 12.5% increase. 76 Lakefront homes sold in June, up from 56 in June 2025. That's a 36% year-over-year increase. Year to date, 344 Lakefront homes have sold compared to 279 through the same period last year. 23 1/3 increase. Median sale price, the June median sale price for Lakefront homes came in at $681,250, up 10.75% from May's 615, and up 8.78% from June 2025's at $726,250. So $681,250 this month this year, $626,250 last year.
Ooh.
The year-to-date median sale price sits at $640,000. That's flat with last year's year-to-date median, reinforcing that pricing is remaining stable over what it was last year. We get some variations month to month, that's to be expected. Days on market, homes went under contract an average of 37 days this June, up slightly from May's 35, but down 6.7% from June 2025's 39 days. Trending down on days on market for lakefront homes, which is a fantastic thing from last year. Homes are still moving noticeably faster than what they were last year. List to sale price ratio, sellers received an average of 96.44% of their asking price in June, down slightly from May at 97.19% and down from June 2025's just a 0.5% that was at 96.96. Still strong, but there is room to negotiate for buyers out there. There's currently 6.8 months of supply in the lakefront home inventory, up slightly from May's 6.6 months. The lakefront home market remains in a balanced situation. Current inventory, there are 370 active lakefront home listings, up 40 from May's 330. Broken down as follows: from 300 to 499,000, 64 homes, up 14 from last May. 500 to 749,000, 96 homes, up 14 from last May. 750 up to a million, 63 homes, up 7 from last month. 1 million to 2 million, 62 homes, down 2 from last month. So from 300 to 500, there's 64 homes on the market. From 1 million to 2 million, there's 62, only 2 less.
Wow.
That is wild to me.
It's wild good and wild bad depending on your perspective.
Yeah.
But also still wildly great in my opinion, because there's still a lot of what I would consider affordable lakefront opportunities.
I know. We've been looking for one. We've been looking for a little investment property.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's been a minute since I was back in a buyer's seat. We bought this home back in 2019. We had bought many homes back to back to back before we bought this one, but it's been a minute. So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm driving down to places going, I don't know if I like to
You know
drive
what?
in the neighborhood.
Before we wrap this up, I've got some questions for you on that. So, but carry on with the market update.
Of the 370 active listings, 166 have reduced their asking price. That's about 45%, up from May's 41.5%. So people that have been on the market a little bit longer now, they're not getting any traction with contracts. They're saying, hey, we don't want to miss the summer, we better start reducing our price now. So it's very, very light in January because a lot of people pulled off in December, and now it's starting to trend up where people are saying, hey, we want to sell, which signals negotiations. Now going over to lakefront condos, 87 new lakefront condo listings came to market in June. It's down almost 31% from May's 123 and down 16.3% from June 25's 104. Year to date, 787 new listings have hit the market versus 709 listings last year. 11% up on new listings this year so far for condos. 50 lakefront condos sold in June, down from 62 in May and down from 59 in June 2025. But that was really the only bad number for lakefront condos for this month. Median sale price was good, days on market was doing better, list to sale price ratio was hanging in there, months of supply ticked up just a little bit, but really condos have been sticking in there this year. And everybody asks me, how's the market? And I say, lakefront homes they've been doing great. They haven't really slacked off at all. Lakefront condos, they are on fire.
Yes.
It's been about all year, almost all year. Even with the softer June, year-to-date sales tell a much stronger story. 304 condos have sold this year versus 231 this time last year. That's 31.6% increase in the number of sales. So there's a lot of happy condo sellers out there and a lot of happy condo buyers as well.
It's all cyclical.
Yeah.
It always comes back.
It's a market. They go up, they go down. June median sale price for lakefront condos came in at $377,750, up almost 24% from May's 300. I remember seeing 300 last month and I was like, whew. They've been trending down here for a little bit. So it's just been the lower level condos that have been selling. This is up 16.25% from June 2025's 325,000. Year to date median is still sitting at 321,250. Last year's year to date, this same time last year was at 345,000. So we've really tracked down quite a bit from last year, but we're seeing a bump here in June. So we'll see how that holds up. Condos average 46 days on market in June, down from May's 56. And down 37.6% from June 2025's 74 days. So last year this time, 74 days on market. This year, 46 days on market. That's quite...
That deserves an ovation.
That is quite an improvement for them. Condo sellers received an average of 97.17% of their asking price, essentially flat with last month and really flat from last year. So hanging in there. Lakefront condo inventory stands at 10.3 months of supply, up slightly from last month at 10.2. Last year, I mean, we were topping out at 12 months. So condos have done noticeably better this year. There are currently 464 active lakefront condo listings, down slightly from May's 466. Here's the breakdown in the number of bedrooms per condo active on the market. 2 bedrooms, 132 units, down 3 from last month. 3 bedroom, 260 condos, 263 bedroom condos active on the market right now. That boggles my mind. That's up 2 from last May.
Well, how does that compare all time? Any idea?
No.
Okay, fair answer.
I hadn't looked that one up. I can though. If you want me to look it up, if anybody has a stat out there and you're wondering, like maybe you have a 3-bedroom condo or you're just wondering where that stacks up, always feel free to shoot me an email or give me a text or whatever. My number's 573-260-0868. All my contact info will be in the video. Email is Jesse, Jesse at lakeexporealestate.com. Feel free to shoot me any questions on that.
And I want it for the content purposes because that's a great idea. We need to do that. I'm going to make a note of that one.
Which part?
The last one, the last stat. So we have this many condo listings. How does it compare all time?
All time.
Yep. So we're going to have you look that up and we're going to look at that one.
Okay. 4-bedroom units, there's 30 of them out there. Of the 464 active listings, 222 have reduced their asking price. That's about 48%. That's up from May's 41.5%. They're eager to sell. Let's make a deal. Let's make an offer. Here's the key takeaways for buyers. Inventory continues to build in both segments heading into peak summer, giving you more to choose from. Days on market are compressing, especially for condos, where average time on market dropped by more than a month year over year. With list to sale price ratios still near or above 96 to 97%, well-priced properties aren't leaving much room for lowball offers. So come prepared to move on the right property. For sellers, year-to-date volume and sales are up sharply in both segments. Homes up over 23% and condos up nearly 32% in units sold. That said, price reductions have ticked up meaningfully this month. Nearly 45% of active homes and almost 48% of active condos have reduced their price, a signal that correct pricing out of the gate matters more than ever as inventory grows. Properties that are priced right are still selling quickly and close to asking. When you list your property with Lake Expo Real Estate, you're not just getting a proven system, you're getting a whole media company back behind you to push your listing to 10 times more than anybody else can give you reach around here. Between what Lake Expo can do, Jeff's channels that he pushes stuff out on, we get maximum exposure. And there's 3 main points when it comes to selling anything, which I call the 3 Ps. Any idea what those are? Promotion.
Price.
Promotion's one of them.
Price.
Okay, price.
And proximity.
Presentation.
Presentation, of course.
And price, promotion, and presentation. A monkey can sell anything at a right price, I like to say. That's part of our listing program that we go over. We call it the Lake Expo Legacy Sale. We do so much more work up front of the listing. And when it comes time to put your house on the market, we are already head and shoulders against what the average market is doing. And when we do go for sale, we don't just put a for sale sign in your yard. It gets marketed out to far more many people throughout the Midwest and through the coast. If you'd like to know more about our process, how we do the pre-listing, how we do staging, our buyer warranty we offer, please reach out to me, Jesse at lakeexporealestate.com. That's Jesse, Jesse. My cell phone number is 573-260-0868.
I'm just sitting up here envying your guests and Schaefer down there in the water right now.
Yeah. The Shafe is down there. I got some nephews. They're,
it's
on a
full
raft
time.
pad from Iguana Sports that we picked up, and they're just running a little remote control boat.
What a great scene right there. And I tell you what, that's a great way to wrap this up because that right there that's core memories.
That's Lake of the Ozarks.
Amen. Amen. Nothing better. It's at the time of this shooting, it's between 10 and 11 o'clock in the morning. It's that warm. You could have been out at 6 a.m. to be honest. But
I was out here.
yes.
I thought we were going to shoot on the dock.
Yep.
So I cleaned the dock up. Needed to clean it up because I knew people were going to be hanging out here. But I tell you what, we've probably got 14 or 16 people here this weekend. Whew. I mean, this is what Lake of the Ozarks is. When you want to have people that want to hang out with you, want to flock to you, if you have a property at the lake, you're going to have a lot of friends. Your family, maybe the kids that have grown up and you don't get to see as much anymore. You buy a place at a lake, the kids are going to want to hang out with you again.
Amen. Amen. And I see sweat creeping through both of our shirts. I feel it on myself. I see it on Jesse. We got to wrap this thing up.
It was a warm one, but it was fun. We will see you next month for the July market update.
Who knows where we'll be? Probably on the water.
Who knows? We should be on the water. Till next time.